Hey guys, Ben here for Blue Ladder, ready to help you elevate your business and take it to the next level. So today I want to address the question, when should I hire somebody? I'm in a situation right now where I'm getting ready to hire somebody by March 1st. I'm growing and it's been steady growth. And did you know there's no right answer to that question? Before we get too deep into the weeds of this question, if you're thinking about hiring somebody, you need to get certain systems in place first to make things run smoothly. And that's where Jobber comes in. With Jobber, you can track all of your customers, and your employees can also easily see their daily schedule, access jobs, and even collect payments directly through the app. Plus, Jobber lets you track the employees' hours, keeping track of everything and keeping it organized and efficient. It's the perfect tool to help you grow your business and manage your team. Check out Jobber using the link in the description. It's a game changer for scaling up your business. Now back to the question. Some people never hire anybody, and that's okay. You do you. So the question really begins to then depend on what your ultimate goals are, where you're trying to bring your business to, and what your current budget is for yourself, for your life. How much of the revenue of your business do you need? I'm growing slower. It took me a long time before I could hire my first person, simply because I have a family that I'm providing for, and I need a lot of the money from the revenue to go into my pocket directly. Now, if I was young and single, to keep my expenses a little bit more lean as far as rent and all the other things that come in with having a family, well, then I could hire a little bit sooner and be more aggressive with things. So I took it in my current situation, being married with kids and having a pretty significant rent and utilities and all those things. You want to make sure that you have enough margin where there's, after paying yourself whatever you need to survive and to get by, you're going to have enough left over after that to be able to pay somebody. In addition to that, especially if you want to grow a little faster, it's very helpful and maybe even needful to have at least one or two marketing levers that you can pull. And when I say marketing lever, I mean, like, maybe you do Facebook ads, maybe you do postcards, maybe you do door hangers, maybe you do Google ads, whatever it is. Each one of those is like its own lever that you can calculate. If I put out 100 flyers, I'm going to get one lead. Or if I do $150 in Facebook ads, I'll get, make a number up, 4 to 6 leads. And so then you can say, okay, if I hire one person tomorrow or next month or a specific day in the future, I'm going to be able to calculate exactly how many customers I need to get in order to make sure that I can pay myself and my employee our amount of, whatever our salary is, or whatever the amount of money that we have coming in that we're going to get paid, and still pay all my other bills and still grow and still keep reinvesting into the marketing. And so that means there's several variables that are different for everybody. So let's say you're younger, your expenses are low, you don't need much to get by. Maybe you're living with your parents, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially in this situation. It means that you can keep things lean, and the leaner you keep things are, the faster you can grow. And so you keep paying yourself peanuts. You put everything else into the business. You can hire guys faster, and maybe you can find guys who are able to work part-time. You hire 2 guys part-time. If one of them doesn't work out, you have the other guy become full-time. You kind of hedge your bet in that way. Or maybe 4 guys part-time, and then give them the, flexibility that, hey, I want to be able to grow with you. So you look for 4 guys who are hungry and ambitious, hire each one part-time with the hope of getting them going full-time, and you can focus on sales then, go door to door, do whatever you have to do, and your goal is just to keep them busy. So that's a great way to scale fast from day one and start hiring guys with flexible schedules who are able to grow with you. So I'm doing it the slow way, which the benefit of that is when I do hire somebody, they're going to work side by side with me. It's going to build a stronger foundation. If you hire a bunch of guys fast, before you're even an expert on the trade, their training is going to be abysmal at best. And so your chances of callbacks and low ratings, 1-star reviews, those begin to skyrocket the faster you grow. And so it's helpful to me. What made me feel safe and secure while supporting my family is that I've already hedged in as many 5-star reviews as I could possibly get. I building to where I don't have 200 yet, but I'm on my way. I have well over 100 5-star reviews on just Google alone. And so reputation is kind of hedged in. It's going to take a lot of 1-star reviews before my total rating would go below 4.5. And kind of 4.8 would be the sweet spot for 5-star reviews. But anything above that is just icing on the cake. Sometimes can seem almost unbelievable to people. That's why higher is not always 100% better. But all that to say, I have that. I have sustainable revenue or income. I've tracked over the past 3 or 4 seasons the regular ebbs and flows of each season. So I know when it's going to get tighter and I have to have a little bit of an extra nest egg built up. And then that's why I'm not hiring right now. I could hire end of December, but I'm going to be waiting until I know I'm going to be getting into my busy season. And so this is where the timeline can be really helpful. If you've been in business for at least 2 seasons or 2 years, 2 full years, then you can look and chart your revenue from month to month over that time. And usually you're slow in December or January, February, and then starts to bump up in March. Maybe if you're more established or in a better location or better climate as far as weather goes, less severe winters, then March might get really busy, and then you stay at it into April and May, and then June you kind of start to you're coming down from your peak by June, and then by July things slow down again. And so July, August, going into September, you have another little dip in your graph, and then you start climbing again. September, October, November, you're hitting peak again, and then ease up in the end of December, slow for winter. And so you typically have a similar, most of the country in the United States at least, there's different ebbs and flows in different regions, but for the most part, you shouldn't hire somebody in January, right? For window cleaning at least, right? Maybe you do snow removal and it makes sense. But I know I can wait until my goal is to get somebody hired to hit the ground running March 1st. I'm typically not full scale busy on March 1st, but it's ramping up at that point. And so it's the perfect time for me to hire somebody, begin to train them. And that way, when we're in peak season, hopefully we're able to maintain that kind of high level of execution to where we don't have to bat an eye. He's trained up, he's ready to go, and we're ready to kind of hit the busy season in full stride. So that's my goal. That's why I hire at that point. And then I can say, okay, I got to work real hard March, April, May, June, and we need to get enough of a nest egg so that if things get slow, he's going to be able to take on more of the responsibility. I can focus more on growth, see where we're at. Maybe we'll be ready to hire somebody again in the fall, but we kind of just coast, and I have enough saved up by then to where, I'm already planning on doing extra little campaigns, giving discounts in the slow season when the fish aren't biting as rapidly. So, but then I'm able to take that time and kind of plan ahead and keep my guy busy and then get ready for the fall season. So you can kind of take it in increments. Now, how many guys to hire is another question that kind of correlates with this. And like I said before, you can be strategic. You can find one guy who's really steady, who you can rely upon, who has the ability to do a lot more things and grow with you. And that's typically the best situation, best find for your first hire. Somebody who has the potential to grow and become like a crew leader and maybe even do other services on the side. For me, I'm kind of trying to navigate that right now myself. I'm going to be having to advertise or at least network with some people and try to get some leads of guys who I might hire. And then from there, I'll make the decision, because it really depends, what kind of fish are in the pond makes a difference on what type of bait you're going to use and what you're planning on making for the next meal. And so if I find somebody who's that kind of level one candidate, like that top level candidate to grow with, then that's great. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking for, and I kind of feel more comfortable with this. I enjoy it more. Hiring somebody who's young, kind of untrained, maybe doesn't have a lot of experience yet, but hungry and willing to learn, teachable. That's what I'm looking for myself. And so then I can have somebody like that who's working with me side by side for a few months. And then as they feel more comfortable, maybe I can leave them or have them do a specific part of the job without any involvement of myself. And when I feel comfortable with them and they're feeling comfortable with that, start giving them more trust. But my goal is to be able to spend 3 to 6 months working side by side with them in the field, so they have a really strong foundation of the skill and knowing how to deal with customers. And again, I'm there so they're able to see me do it. And this is kind of the rule for discipleship and leadership in general, where number one, you do, they watch. In this case, they're going to be getting something that they can do alongside of me. But dealing with customer, at first, I'm going to be doing all the talking, and they're going to just be able to soak it in. The next step would be they do and I watch. They talk with the customers more, different situations occur, and I give them more and more responsibility as things progress. And then the final stage before the full transition would be that they begin to do things without me being there, and I just kind of make sure and check up on them, have systems in place with checklists so that they can be well maintained and content with their growth and progress, and feel like they have all the resources and all the teaching they've needed in order to do things on their own. And when they're at that point, whether it's 6 months or a year or 2 years, different people grow at different rates. And so you can't just have like a full across the board, this is how we do everything. You got to have a little bit of flexibility built in. So you can have your kind of general guidelines, but I've always sometimes I hire somebody and they're not going to be independent for years, but they're still helpful. They're still good employees. They're loyal. They're dedicated. They want to do hard work and that they are proud of, but they can't lead a crew yet. And that's okay. So it might be a couple years. Maybe they never get there before they move on to their next job. That's okay. Then you get other people who you hire and they're sharp and they can get things done without any involvement. Maybe they have experience with the trade and they're just a go-getter. And so you want to give them the ability to kind of jump ahead of the curve and show that you trust them and that you see their ability to do the work and they don't need to be babysat. So somebody like that, they don't want your involvement, not in an overblown way. Like they need support, they need your trust more than anything, and they need you to let go a little earlier. And so when you have somebody like that, which I had somebody like that who I eventually sold my other business to, you just have a little bit of an approach. And so sometimes you don't know who you're going to get until after you hire them. You can get an idea though. And then based on the candidates that are in your hiring pool, you can make your final decision on your whole transition. But it's also okay to say from day one, this is how I want to do things. So I've always been more from the discipleship mindset. And so even if I was to hire somebody who could clean all the windows themselves, then I'd probably start focusing on getting more pressure washing and gutter cleaning customers for myself. And I hire somebody else to help me with that. So more than one way to slice it. Whatever you want to do, make sure you think about it and kind of plan out the right kind of, chart your way before you get the journey started. At least be mindful of what might be ahead so that way you can be prepared and not surprised by anything that comes your way. So hope that helps. I'll see you guys in the next video.